Thursday Night Tailgate, where the spotlight is always on the positive. Tune in Thursday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time to hear your favorite NFL legends, players, and coaches sharing their stories. Now back to Chris and Bob.
I wouldn't joke about anything else that happens here tonight.
All right, now joining us here on Thursday Night Tailgate is our third guest Hall of Fame inductee of the night, and that is former University of Minnesota and CFL star quarterback Rickey Foggie. Rickey was recruited by Lou Holtz to play his college ball at the University of Minnesota, and he became a 4-year starter there. Over those 4 seasons, he passed for nearly 5,200 yards, rushed for another 2,200. That tells you what a dual threat Rickey was. He remains one of the most decorated and popular quarterbacks in Minnesota Golden Gophers history. Still lives up there. And for those of you that follow Rickey on social media, and I highly recommend that you do it, go on Twitter at @rfoggie, Foggie, and follow him. That guy plays more rounds of golf than I think they do out on the PGA Tour, and I'm jealous as hell for him being able to do it. I don't know how much longer he's going to be able to do it. Again, like I say, he still lives up in Minnesota, so I'm sure snow is forecasted any day now up there, but what a wonderful follow he is. Played in the Canadian Football League from 1988 to 97 for teams like the BC Lions, Toronto Argonauts, Edmonton Eskimos, Memphis Mad Dogs when they came down here to the States for a while, and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Also spent 4 years in the Arena League. Like Gus, Chris Miller later on in the show, Rickey is, one of our go-to guys when we want to start understanding what's going on in the heads of a quarterback. He's a member of the University of Minnesota Hall of Fame, and we are excited to induct him into our Thursday Night Tailgate Guest Hall of Fame tonight. Hey, Rickey, Chris, and Bob, thank you so much for all you've meant to us over the years.
Hey, Rickey. Hey, guys. It's always a pleasure for me to be able to come on to your show, and always an enjoyment, and thanks for having me on again tonight.
So, Rickey, how many rounds of golf you got left in you before the snow starts flying?
Hey, easy now, easy. It was actually 85 degrees up here today. So
wow, it was not. I can't believe it was
Indian
85
summer.
in Minnesota.
Indian summer.
Good
so
for you.
We got at least another month that I can play. That's what I'm hoping for.
There you go. Good for you. Rickey, I want to start by going back to your time at the University of Minnesota. You got there in 84. They're coming off an 83 season when they finished 1-10. You had Lou Holtz come over as a new head coach, actually recruited you to come there. You guys both start at the same time. Talk about taking that 1-10 team and turning it around in just 3 seasons.
Yeah, I think that was the amazing part about what Coach Holtz did for the University of Minnesota, because the majority of that 84 team was the 83 team. They didn't graduate a lot of guys off of that team, and for us to come in and be really competitive in that first year in 84, we went 4-7 and probably lost, if I can remember, 2 or 3 games by less than 3 points. So he was an amazing coach, but I think the thing was he had a great staff that he also recruited to come there and coach for him under him at the University of Minnesota. So it was a quick turnaround, and it was amazing. I think the whole town took a hold of Coach Holtz, his players and his coaching staff, and for us to be able to be competitive, such a short turnaround was amazing to see, and definitely something amazing to be a part of. And I think that's why so many fans and us also as players hate to see him leave just after 2 seasons.
So, Rickey, going all the way back, when he was recruiting you to go to Minnesota, I mean, you're such a great athlete, and you looked at a program that was 1-10 the previous season. How did he get you to come there? What did he do to convince you that was the best place for you?
It wasn't a whole lot what Coach Holtz actually did, because I had verbally committed to go to the University of North Carolina. I was going to be a Tar Heel. The main reason I wanted to be a Tar Heel was because of Michael Jordan. I played basketball in high school also, and I was a huge Michael Jordan fan growing up. And I remember Coach Dale Evans was the coach that was recruiting me at Carolina, and I told him, if I come on my recruiting visit, if you give me the opportunity to meet Michael Jordan and get an autograph, I'll commit. And so when I went on that recruiting trip, he came through for me. I went to a basketball game, met Mike after the game. He signed my media guys for me. And I said, done deal. I'm coming. And went home and told my mom that's where I wanted to go. And surprising to me, she said, well, go to Minnesota, just take a trip, see how it is. You've never really been anywhere. I've been the baby of 9 kids. Couldn't afford to travel because my parents was working all the time. And I go, okay, I'll go up there and just take the weekend, take a visit and see how things are up there. But I'm just letting you know, I'm going to Carolina. So I came to Minnesota, and it was January. Didn't really have a big coat. Got off of that airplane, and it was about 20 degrees. And at that time, they didn't have the Skyway walkthrough. So you had to come down the stairs and walk into the airport. And I almost froze. But I had a good time. My recruiting visit was great. Met Coach Holtz, and he was a great salesman. But like I told him also, I go, Coach, I had a great time. I already committed to Carolina with Coach Evans, and, I gave my word that that's where I wanted to go. And he goes, at the end of it, he goes, okay, if anything changed, will you definitely consider us? I told you, no question. And so I get home, told my mom I had a great visit, and everything went well. But, hey, I'm going to be a Tar Heel. A couple of weeks passed, and all of a sudden, Michael Jordan, after the basketball season, commits and said he's going to the NBA. And I go, oh, wait a minute. My plan is not working out. And so I asked my mom to call a coach in Minnesota who was John Palermo, who was actually my recruiter because he was previously at East Carolina. He was recruiting me there, but he got hired by Coach Holtz, and he continued to recruit me in Minnesota. And I go, can you call Coach Palermo and see if a scholarship is still available for me? I'm going to Minnesota. So she called him and she said, definitely, we'd love to have Rickey come up. And that was the good fortune. It worked out for me that MJ went to the pros. I decommitted from Carolina and landed in Minnesota.
Bob, questions for Rickey?
Oh, Rickey, first of all, again, congrats, and we appreciate your friendship also, and we wish you continued luck doing what you're doing. But I wanted to ask you, Chris just mentioned what kind of great athlete you were throughout college, Rickey, and many people thought you could have played in the NFL at a different position than quarterback, but you stuck to your guns. You wanted to play quarterback and went to Canada and had a lot of success. Did you ever have any second thoughts, Rickey, of how it might have been had you played in the NFL at a different position, or was it just always quarterback for you?
Yeah, I think for me, I was a tall, lanky, skinny kid. I wasn't but 175 pounds in college. So I took that into consideration when, the pros came in and worked out and asked me if I wanted to, switch over and be a receiver or maybe play defensive back. But I was like, well, I've never played receiver or I've never played defensive back. So for me to go into the NFL and try to learn those positions, especially wide receiver, the only thing I had in mind was seeing like a guy, me running a slant route and see Mike Singletary sitting there looking at me. I'm like, nah. If I had another option, if I didn't have another option, if there wasn't a CFL, I might have would have tried it, but I had the option to go to the Canadian Football League to continue playing quarterback, something that I knew I could do, really well at. So I took that route, and, I've never second guessed it. I had such a great career up there. I've met so many of my great friends that I have still to the day. While I was in the CFL, got coaches, got coached by some really great coaches up there. Adam Reeder being one of them, guys in the Canadian Football League Hall of Fame. And so, no, I've never second guessed it. I think I made the right decision, and my health, I'm healthy because of that decision I made.
Yeah. Good point. And I'll ask you what I asked Gus Farrat, Rickey, when you were growing up in South Carolina. You had mentioned your parents, and obviously you owe them a lot. But I wanted to give you the opportunity to talk about some other people in your very early years who probably paved a lot of the way for your success at all the different levels, maybe people at the youth level, high school level. Talk about some of the people that really meant a lot to you.
So it was, I think, it's just a community for me, and my fellow, kids that we grew up with. Like I said, I was a baby of 9 kids, so I was able to sit back and all of my sisters, it was 4 sisters and 4 brothers, they were all athletes. So I grew up watching them play sports, and I just knew it was going to be a matter of time for me when I started playing, because probably when I started walking, my mom and dad gave me some kind of ball to play with. And that's what we did. You know, we played year round. Because our parents worked, we couldn't be at home alone, so we had to be outside and playing. And I give a lot of kudos to my Uncle Lewis. He carried me with him. He was one of the coaches of our men's baseball league. It was 21 and over, and he had me playing third base when I was 13 years old. I was a starter in that league at 13 in baseball. So he helped groom me how to be mentally tough, because, you know, as a 13-year-old, I'm out there playing against guys in their 20s and 30s and probably 40s, and being able to compete, and going through a lot of ups and downs, just as a young teenager. You know, he made me tough it out, stick it out, and show me, like I say, how to be not only physically tough, but the mental toughness that I think has stuck with me the whole time. And then, you know, you get into youth coaches. My JV coach, I remember Coach Leroy, because I didn't start playing quarterback until my junior year. So Coach Leroy was my JV coach, and our quarterback got hurt the last game of the season. So he threw me in there and just told me, you know, hey, get out there and run around, make some plays, hand the ball off every now and then. And so after my JV year, my sophomore year, going into that summer, Coach Leroy go, hey, Rick, we got a new coach coming in, and I think you should train to play quarterback. I go, all right, it sounds good, but who's going to train me? He go, well, I'm going to train you. So Coach Leroy actually trained me that whole summer to go into my junior year to compete for the starting quarterback position. And lo and behold, we did. We got a new coach came in, and, you know, went in the summer camp with a lot of confidence in what Coach Leroy had taught me about the position, and ended up winning the position. And so I give Coach Leroy a lot of credit for that. I give Coach Buddy Jennings a lot of credit for what he did for our community. He was the new coach that came in, and you know, our first year under Coach Jennings, we go 13-1, and the one loss was the championship game. My junior year and then my senior year, we went 14-0 and won the state championship. So he came in and did a great job for our community and for our kids, and to get our guys a lot of opportunities to play, to showcase our talent, and a lot of guys. We had 7 or 8 guys get Division I scholarships off of that football team, and so. And it goes on. Coach Holtz did a great job in that small amount of time that I had to spend with him being such a great coach. And he taught me a lot of things about how to be a leader on the field. But I think the most important thing he taught me was how to be a leader off the field. And so I give a lot of props to him. But at the end of the day, I think it's my parents and my siblings I owe everything to, because they was the one who watched me and groomed me and watched me grow up and make some mistakes, and to teach me how to, you know, grow and to be a young man. And my parents, I give them a lot of credit for allowing me to, you know, make a decision to leave the state of South Carolina and come to the University of Minnesota, which was, you know, almost 1,100 miles away. I give my parents, because I was a mama's baby. And so I'm proud of her for letting me kind of get out from under her and let me grow and go, you know, to a university to become a young man that I am.
Rickey, before we let you go, remind our listeners how they can stay up to date with all the things you're doing now and follow you either online or on social media.
Yep, like you said, on Twitter, I'm at rfoggie14. You can follow me there. I'm also on Instagram as rfoggie. And also on Facebook, you can just look me up under Rickey Foggie, and I'm on, and you can follow me on there. And me and all of my football that I'm coaching high school football now at St. Thomas Academy High School here in Minnesota. And also you can follow me watching me golf probably 4 or 5 days out of the week. And you also can catch me on LinkedIn. And I have to give my girlfriend Shar Hadeen a shout out. She's listening, so life is good.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic. Good for you, Rickey. Thank you so much for being such a wonderful guest with us over the years and now a member of our Guest Hall of Fame. We appreciate you very much, Rickey. Thank you for all your time and everything you've meant to us over the years.
Hey, guys, I want to thank you guys very much for inducting me. Very proud member to be a part of you guys' association.
Take care, Rickey. All the best to you and your family. We'll catch up again soon.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Good night, man.
See you, Rickey. That's Rickey Foggie, Foggie. Foggie. And like I say, follow him on social media. If you love golf, he's a great follow. If you love football, he's a great follow. And he's doing great things with the kids and the high school team that he is coaching. And just an absolute legend, Bob, at the University of Minnesota.
He was, and again, I just remember him. He was like a water bug in college, Chris, that quick. He was very, very quick, and of course, he's probably a lot less slower these days on the golf course, but more power to him. I know you're very, very jealous of his golfing.
Yes, I am. All right, we've got our fourth inductee, Chris Miller, hanging on the line. Going to get to Chris right on the other side of this station break.